Hey folks, welcome to another day, another unboxing. I've got the Galaxy Z Flip3 5G here, the new smaller folding phone from Samsung. And I want to thank AT&T for sending me this review unit. Thanks so much, folks. So let's unbox this. As you can see, the box is super thin because there's no charger in here. Some iMays at the bottom, right? So let's take a look, shall we? Dun, 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 dun. Nothing there. Here's the phone. Let's see what else we got in the box. Obviously very minimal packaging since there's no charger whatsoever. So got a SIM removal tool here. And here looks like we've got, at least they give you a USB Type-C cable. Type-C to Type-C, as you can see here. That's exciting. And that's about all you get. Now, as I said, this is an AT&T device, so it comes with the AT&T documentation. So that's the quick start guide. You got a AT personal cloud and some sort of AT 5G whatever SIM thing, warranty card. So let's have a look at this real quick because obviously this could be fun. Ooh, it's nicely illustrated. By the way, the color on this phone is this cream color, very beautiful. So yeah, tells you where the controls are. It's not too much in there. And that's it for all of that. So let's check out the phone and go through the specs and everything, shall we? All right, let's open this up. So I'm gonna have to peel this here on the edges to free it from its, ooh, there we are. And then there's an IMEI sticker in the back. I'm gonna peel that off. Well, that came off real easy. And ta-da! Check out that creamsicle Oreo, like reminds me of the Pixels in the day, color. And of course, it folds, folks. Right? All right, let's fire it up, go through the specs, and I'll walk you through it in detail. So here we go. We got a 6.7-inch flexible AMOLED display, 1080p, 120 hertz. So that's the big improvement over last year's flips, that this is not just a 60 hertz display, but a 120 hertz display. Otherwise, it's essentially the same panel. So, you know, no big surprises here. Under the hood is a Snapdragon 888, of course, 5G support, 8 gigs of RAM, and either 128 gigs of storage like this one or 256 gigs of storage. Okay, no micro SD, of course. There's this very smallish 3300 milliamp hour battery in here, so it's divided into two halves, I believe. But just want to let you know that that might be the only issue with this phone is battery life, because 3300 milliamp hour is not a huge amount. Then there's a 10 megapixel camera up here, f/2.4. This is the standard 1.22 micron front-facing camera that Samsung's been putting on everything since the S10 and Note 10 series, basically. But it does 4K video at 30 frames per second, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so let me walk you through the edges before I show you the whole folding action. On the right-hand side here, we have the volume rocker, power lock key with an embedded fingerprint sensor, which is a lot more flush than last year. Then you've got the hinge, some antenna bands. This is a metal and glass phone, of course. It's $1,000, which is a lot more affordable than last time. It does have a speaker here, stereo speakers with the earpiece. It has USB Type-C, and it looks like a couple of microphone ports. On the left-hand side, you really don't see too much other than the SIM tray and this window here, this plastic oblong thing. That's the millimeter wave 5G antenna. So that's on here now. And then on top you have, of course, a secondary microphone. That's pretty much the layout. So let's look at the back. You know, glass panels, comes in black. I think it's like a purple pink color and this cream white color. And the camera setup is very similar to last year. You got dual cameras in the front. You got a 12 megapixel f/1.8 main camera with 1.4 micron pixels, autofocus and OIS, of course. So that's pretty cool. Then there's a 12 megapixel f/2.2 ultra wide with 123 degree field of view and 1.12 micron pixels, right? I think it's pretty much the same setup as last year. But of course, you know, Samsung keeps improving their camera software, and these cameras were pretty good already, so I think that's gonna just get better. Now, the big news this year, in addition to, you know, all the things, 120 hertz main display, the Snapdragon 888 with 5G, is that there's a bigger display in the front, right? So that secondary display is now a 1.9-inch display. You won't be able to see it because I'm not setting up the phone, but it's about this big across. And it is an entire 260 by 512 pixels. So you can actually do a lot more in the front than before. Last year it was just like a postage stamp in this corner here. It was very small. So this is like a lot bigger here. So that's big news. They got a flash here, as you can see. Samsung right there. You can see that there's less of a gap this year between the two halves. You know, it's just polished and improved all the way around. I like that it's more slab-sided. You know, it's like more flat on the edges and less round like it was last year. Feels a little more modern, but yeah, it feels fantastic. The screen looks great. So, you know, super excited. This is great stuff. Been looking forward to this phone since they announced it. So again, thanks to AT&T for hooking me up. Now, we talked about battery, 3,300 milliamp hour. There is, of course, some charging options here. We've got 15 watt fast charging, which isn't really that great. 10 watt fast wireless charging, which is also not really that fast. But 4.5 watt reverse charging is not so bad. Another thing that you should keep in mind, which is exciting, is that this now is water resistant, at least to some extent. This one is IPX8. That means X, it means there's no dust resistance of any kind. So don't get this to the beach. Don't leave this in dusty places like sandy, dusty places. But the 8 means that it's water resistant, which is insane for a folding phone, folks. So big deal, you know. And the screen protector that's pre-applied here is a lot nicer to the touch than last year's rubbery screen protector. So that's also, I think, a very welcome improvement. So overall, great improvement every way. More affordable, bigger front screen, 120 Hertz display, newer processor, water resistance, you know, just better design, sleeker looking. This is the Galaxy Z Flip3 5G, folks. Stay tuned, I'll have a review for hot hardware very soon, so you should read that when it comes out. I'll put the review in the video description once the review is finished. And of course, remember, this is a compliment to my podcast at mobiletechpodcast.com. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, everywhere good podcasts can be found. And of course, subscribe to the channel, like this video, tell your friends. Tell me in the comments, are you ready to buy a folding phone now? Is this the one that will tip you over the edge? Because it's expensive at $1,000, but way less expensive than last year. Basically, this is the price of a standard flagship, and it delivers most of the flagship features, so maybe you should consider it. Let me know in the comments. And finally, remember, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/TNKGRL. That's patreon.com/Tankerl. If you want to see additional content, like we have a video version of the podcast unedited, you should join Patreon. I also have a Discord channel there, so check that out. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. I'll see you soon with another video. Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G. Cheers, everybody.